In the headlines, federal government mandates state governments to partake in payment of electricity subsidy. APC Chair Yowatda says Tinubu's foreign trips yielding investments for Nigeria. NLC, TUC direct workers to resume work immediately. Saraki sends delegation to bandit-stricken Kwara communities. On foreign scene, Trump seeks $1 billion in damages from Harvard. And in sports news, FIFA president suggests lifting ban on Russia. Good afternoon and thank you for staying with us on Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin. This is the news on the hour. I am Bisola. Oduwole Suleiman. We'll bring you details of the news after this break. Please stay with us.
You ugly. Everybody they post picture for social media. You too they put picture.
Hey, wait, this picking no even fine. Yeah.
See this bro guy, now your generation dey here.
You probably don't know how much your words hurt, but cyberbullying is real. Words hurt, whether it's in person, from typing, or behind a screen. Just a comment or unnecessary share from someone you know or from a complete stranger can hurt. Words can even end lives. Think before you type. Stop cyberbullying today.
This message is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM Ilorin.
Welcome back from that break. Please note that you can listen to us via our website, www.diamondfm.net, or watch us live on Facebook at Diamond 87 FM and YouTube, Diamond FM Ilorin. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has directed state governments to bear the cost of electricity subsidy in partnership with the federal government, even as the funding for payment of the subsidy will now come from Power Assistance Consumers Fund, PCAF. Director General of the Budget Office of the Federation, Tanimu Yakubu, disclosed this at the opening of the 2026 post-budget preparation using Government Integrated Financial Management System, GIFMIS, workshop in filling the gap created by subsidy and must not be left to the federal government alone. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Nentawe Yowatda, has commended President Bola Tinubu for his strategic international engagement and the measurable gains Nigeria has recorded through sustained diplomatic and economic outreach. In a statement signed by Special Advisor on Media and Communication Strategy, Abimbola Tuki, Yowatda said that since assuming office in May 2023, President Tinubu has undertaken a series of international visits to key regions, engaging leaders and investors in nations such as the United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, China, amongst others. Professor Yowatda said that President Tinubu's foreign travels and meetings with global leaders are not ceremonial but purposeful, stressing that Nigeria has already secured over $50 billion in foreign direct investment commitments through President Tinubu's diplomatic drive, with major companies and sectors committing to investments that span energy, manufacturing, logistics, agriculture, technology, and infrastructure. Labour unions under the Trade Union Congress, TUC, and the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, have directed their members working in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, to resume work immediately following a late-night conciliatory meeting with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The directive was contained in a circular dated February 3, 2026 and addressed to all affiliates of the TUC and NLC and signed by the Secretary General of the TUC, Nuhu Toro, and the Acting General Secretary of the NLC, Benson Upah. The circular reported the outcome of a meeting convened at the instance of the chairman of the Senate Committee on the FCT, Senator Mohammed Bomoy, which mandated that all outstanding cases at the National Industrial Court shall be withdrawn immediately. Moving on, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has stated that more than half of minors and underage persons in Nigeria obtain alcoholic beverages by themselves. NAFDAC disclosed this in its recent survey conducted by an organization released today by the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Bisola. The study revealed that 54.3% of persons under 18 years buy alcoholic beverages themselves from various sources, raising concerns over underage drinking and easy access to alcohol. The study further highlighted policy implications, noting that access to alcohol by children and underage persons could be limited if pack sizes that can easily be purchased and concealed were not available. The Jigawa State Police Command has engaged the leaders of all registered political parties in the state in an effort to ensure orderly, peaceful and weapon-free political activities. State Commissioner for Police, CP Dahiru Muhammad, gave the warning during a meeting he convened under the platform of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, held today at the command headquarters in Dutse. He emphasized that importance of early and continuous communication with the police, particularly the need to formally notify the command ahead of rallies, processions, and other public gatherings. And in Taraba State, the Taraba State government has finally explained the deduction made from the January salaries of civil servants, stating it was to cover the cost of annual performance evaluation report APA forms. The clarification was given on Monday in a statement issued to journalists after a meeting with the Joint Council in Jalingo by the Permanent Secretary Establishment and Records Office under the head of service, Christopher Machuko. Machuko said the explanation became necessary following complaints on social media over the 3,000 naira deducted from the salaries of state civil servants, stating that the deduction was not new. And lastly, on the local scene, former Senate President and two-time Governor of Kwara State, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has sent a high-powered delegation to communities affected by bandit attacks in Ifelodu, local government area of Kwara South Senatorial District, to sympathize with victims and traditional rulers. The delegation, drawn from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, visited 19 communities that have experienced repeated violent attacks by suspected bandits, many of which have been partly deserted following security challenges. A statement issued today by the leader of the delegation and the Kwara State PDP Treasurer, Reverend COS Fawenu, said the visit was part of the fourth phase of interventions initiated by Saraki since 2025 to support communities affected by insecurity across Kwara North and South. And that's it on the local scene. The news on the hour is reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM. In Lauren, we take a short break. When we return, we'll bring you foreign and sports news. In foreign news, Trump seeks $1 billion in damages from Harvard. We'll bring you that story after the break. Please stay with us.
Follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Diamond 887 FM. Diamond FM, shining supreme.
Welcome back from that break. You're still listening to the news on the hour, reaching you from Diamond 88.7 FM. In Lauren, before that break, we brought you local stories, and now we move on to the foreign scene. In foreign news, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he will be seeking $1 billion in damages from the Harvard University in his administration's ongoing feud with the institution. The news comes after the New York Times reported that the U.S. President's administration had to withdraw its demand for a $200 million payment in negotiations with the university. However, Trump, while citing the story, blamed Harvard for misinforming the New York Times. While the Trump administration has been accusing Harvard of not doing enough to tackle anti-Semitism during pro-Palestinian protests, Harvard has rejected the accusation. Still in foreign news, Iranian authorities have arrested 139 yet to be identified foreign nationals in the central district of Yazd during recent anti-government protests. As many as 30,000 people are feared to have been killed during week-long demonstrations. Recall that protests against the rising cost of living erupted in Iran on 28 December before spreading into nationwide anti-government demonstrations that have drawn international condemnation over the violent crackdown. The police chief in Yazd said those detained were involved in organizing, inciting and directing riotous actions and in some cases were in contact with networks outside the country. And that's it on the foreign scene. Moving into the world of sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has stated that Russia's ban from football should be lifted definitely. Recall that the European nation was banned since its invasion of Ukraine in 2022, but the International Olympic Committee has now recommended that the International Sports Federation admit Russian teams to compete at the youth level. Reacting to the development, Infantino stated that the decision to suspend the Russians from the competition has achieved nothing and has only generated more disappointment and hatred. Still in sports news, West Ham United Football Club has signed Chelsea defender Axel Disasi on loan until the end of the season for a £1.7 million loan fee. The 27-year-old centre-back began his medicals on Friday morning, confirming that the transfer ran late after West Ham submitted a deal sheet to earn a 2-hour extension of the transfer window in order to complete the signing. While West Ham are at the third bottom in the Premier League table after 24 matches, Disasi has arrived at Stratford to strengthen Nuno Espirito Santo's defence as they attempt to avoid relegation. And that's it in the world of sport. With that, we've come to the end of the news on the hour for today. But before we go, here is a recap of the major highlights. Federal government mandates state governments to partake in payment of electricity subsidy. APC Chair Yilwatda hails Tinubu's global diplomacy. NLC TUC direct workers to resume work immediately. Saraki sends delegation to bandit-stricken Kwara communities. On the foreign scene, Trump seeks $1 billion in damages from Harvard. And in sports news, FIFA president suggests lifting ban on Russia. And those are the major headlines as brought to you this afternoon. Before we wrap up the news, we take a look at our Today in History segment. Did you know that on this day in the year 1976, late head of state General Muritala Muhammad announced the creation of 11 new states, increasing Nigeria's total to 19 and also declaring Abuja as the new federal capital? Now you know. For news coverage or information about happenings around you, kindly contact the Diamond FM newsroom number on 091 606 27526, 091 606 27526. Please join us at 3 p.m. for the news flash and at 5 p.m. for the news across the world for a comprehensive bulletin. Log on to our website, www.diamondfm.net, to keep up to date with us from any part of the world. Download our app on Google Play Store and iOS Apple Store, Diamond FM. The news on the hour was put together by Nedu Okorie. I am Bisola Oduwole Suleiman. Thank you for listening to your shining Supreme Station. Please stay tuned for the news in Yoruba coming up shortly. Good afternoon.